To the panel discussion session 2, Walls or Bridges, Populism Integration. Welcome and thank you for your time. A round of applause please for the organizer of this event. The Youth University Federation is a platform for young ambassadors for peace. Does anybody know what does that mean? No? Okay, we can ask the president of the Universal Peace Federation, which is here with us. Thank you very much. For everybody that doesn't know, Peter Haider is the president of the Universal Peace Federation. Peter, thank you very much for coming. You have been working on Peace Federation for all your life.
Well,
yeah. So what is peace, first of all? And what kind of peace do you promote?
So anyway, also welcome from my side. I'm very happy. We started some 10 years ago to have such panel discussion in the university, but we stopped it again and again, and I hope we can continue like with this event and don't stop it so quickly again. Thank you for the youth UPF activists that took this effort. What is peace? Peace is what we all desire and what doesn't exist, unfortunately, in this world. But I think deep in our soul we know what peace is. I think, always I say, just in the morning, after you wake up, go outside and meditate. The sun rose, you didn't do anything for it. The wind, the air, everything is there. And also here in this country we have food, we have everything. Actually we live in a world of abundance. So we shouldn't feel any shortage. Yeah? So we should be ready to share all this with the people of the world and especially with the people among us. And if we do this, I think we will have peace, you know. Anyway, there are many other aspects, but I just wanted to share this one. So every morning, just do this. This is the best thing to start the day because it's very simple, it's free, and it gives you really strength for the day. I do it every day.
Thank you very much. Don't go and add value to the person that is next to you. Now, you appoint the Nobel Prize. Is that true?
We?
You appoint young ambassadors for peace.
So we appoint. Mainly we appointed until now old ambassadors for peace. People who invested themselves in different projects, small projects or national projects, people who have a sense to live for others. This is the important thing. You don't just live for yourself, you live for others. There are many aspects like in the field of intercultural exchange, inter-religious dialogue, international understanding. These are like our maybe biggest slogan. Also we believe that the experience of love in the family is fundamentally precious. So if you have this, I think your start in life is better, and we should invest also a lot in this. This is what we believe. This is one of the also fundamental things we believe are important to create a world of peace.
And who was the last Nobel Prize?
The Nobel Prize?
No, who was your Nobel Prize?
Yeah, the ambassador for peace. It's actually a student he's a PhD student in the University of Vienna from Pakistan, and he invests himself a lot in the field of education, And his father was already a teacher, and he told all his sons, go and don't live for yourself, but teach the people in our country, because if we educate them, our country can develop. So I met him, I met his brother, and I think people, countries like Pakistan need not a lot of encouragement to go into this direction.
Wonderful, thank you very much. So, is there any, thank you, wants to become an ambassador, or you have done something for your society, for your community, go to Peter or to Joanna here, because we want to recognize your contribution. Yeah. Something regarding what Peter said. Society is realization of an idea. We cannot realize our full potential without helping each other. And this is the reason why we're here today. Okay, now back to the youth. Peter is from Peace, Universal Peace Federation. We have another organization that is Youth Peace, Youth Universal Peace Federation. And they, as I said, are a platform for young ambassadors for peace from around Europe. They make global peace network accessible to any of you. They provide training, internships around Europe, introduce youth-directed sessions and innovative conferences, and as well appoint ambassadors for peace. I'd like to highlight two of the last events that the Youth Peace, the UPF, organized. The previous one was at the Diplomatic Academy. We talked about youth and political engagement. Why is it important? It's important because the politics doesn't belong only to politicians. It belongs to all of us. Yeah. And another event that the UPF organized was Walls or Bridges Session 1. Today is Session 2. During Walls or Bridges Session 1, we talked about my journey, my vision, not mine, but the journey of a few refugees who share their story. And today we will talk about the arisement of populism. Yeah, where is Europe going? We search for an explanation to the current trend in Western politics, whether it derives from economic insecurities, terrorist threat, or cultural clashes. For this we have 4 distinguished speakers. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for your time. They are all leaders in their way, and they have all contributed in their way to Austrian community and abroad. Now, I'd like to start with David first. David Meinl. David Meinl is a European student, comes from Europe, is a European Student Forum, right?
Public representative.
Thank you. He's a world traveler. He has traveled in each continent. To all the traveler who knows the meaning of it, traveling is more than, or is just the same as a university, the ability to see another world. So you have seen a lot of the world, yeah? I recall one of the quotes of The Economist is, the most dangerous worldview is the worldview of the one who has seen only one world. Now, back to David. So he's a world traveler. He has studied political science, psychology, economy. He has lived in China, Germany, Austria, and somewhere else. Malaysia. Okay, and he will be talking today about a research paper. His research paper, Integration Challenges and Opportunities, right? Can you please elaborate more? What is this research paper about?
Well, appearing in our site, and my main findings is liberal democracy. So I will elaborate a bit a critique of liberal democracy and why it enables populism.
Okay, thank you very much. Before that, I would like to highly mention that David is a consultant as well. He is an expert in clean energy, in energy management, and lean management. So anyone looking for a consultant? No? Good. So please talk about the research paper. What is populism?
Well, shall I start now?
Yes.
Okay.
The floor is yours.
Thank you. So, thanks a lot for the invitation from the UPF and also the youth UPF. It's a pleasure to speak to you. And I mean, it's also a very nice audience, as we can see here, not only old people, but also young people. Do we also have someone from the FPÖ in the audience? No? Nobody? It's a shame. Probably they are already talking with the SPÖ about the next coalition. Nevertheless, let me also tell me that I don't represent my thoughts, but they are thoughts from famous authors like Hannah Arendt, Chantal Mouffe or Schmidt. And yeah, so just to let you know, because it's a very delicate topic as well. So what is populism? Populism is a discursive notion. There's not only one populism. I mean, our Anglo-American friends, colleagues, they're a bit better in the term. We say Populismus in Deutsch. But there is an ecological populism, there's an agricultural populism, and of course a political, which we are going to talk about. The political one consists in a right and left wing. So here in Europe we have more the right-wing populism. In South America there's more the left-wing populism. Okay, so moreover populism is using emotions and personalization. It puts people in boxes. There's always we and they. So we the people and they the elites, or they the establishment, or they the minorities. It always has current trends as globalization is against the financial system, employment, centralization and anti-European Union, as well as Islamic phobic and the application of the intellectual system actually described as common sense. Nevertheless, other drivers besides that are also the economical and the governmental system. The overage population, as we see here in Europe as well, is a big driver, seeing at the votes of Brexit. And terror can also change a lot in the European system. And also technological achievements. We see a global trend that we are losing a lot of jobs. So this is also a thing which is a challenge. Nowadays, as we also see the connection with Internet of Things and so on. And of course, how can you forget, our party system. Our main parties are so sluggish to let change happen. They are overaged and we have a hierarchical system which doesn't enable any change. In addition, populism is also against the big supranational institutions, the Keynesian monetary system, also called the Keynesian Leviathan, and what is also now very interesting, social media is helping populism as well, because information and scandals are spread way faster. Nowadays in the European Union we have 39 populistic parties in 24 different European member states. So let us go to the roots of populism. Where did it come up? Where did it rise? Well, it came up in the modernization within the 16th century, when the government became more centralized, with the administration system, with an army, with education and law. And then also we have Lincoln's famous sentence, government from the people and by the people. This is what populism is standing for. So parties and institutions are impediments. It is a critique against the unitarism which we see nowadays within the European Union. It arose within the French Revolution, the Russian peasant movement, and the socialistic movement in Germany in the 19th century, which stands for split between government and the economy. In the 19th century, it was also coming up with the conservatism. It's an analogy of populism nowadays. So coming to the critique of liberal democracy. As Mouffe and Arendt say, liberal democracy doesn't enable any antagonism. So no, we are separated and the pluralism is being lost. The citizen has to identify himself with a party or person. Otherwise, they are not successful. And we see this in Germany nowadays. We see this with Martin Schulz. Now Martin Schulz is out of the media and the votings, like they are dropping of the SPD in Germany. So the broad consensus of the liberal democracy doesn't work. It's like a minority can change the majority, which is also very, very dangerous through passive resistance, as they are not going to vote. And is that laws are actually in liberal democracy for everybody. But as we try, or as our governments try to help the monetary system in the financial crisis 2008, they changed the laws for something. And also within the European Union, the law is not for everybody. When we had the Dublin system, Germany said, no, we take more migrants. And this doesn't work. So also when you say we have a better lawyer, you can buy yourself free from the law, kind of. I mean, in the Anglo-American system, it's even more severe. So, in addition, also liberalization or liberal democracy doesn't see any irrationality. That's the reason why it can't enable any antagonism. Nevertheless, it is an exclusive part of liberal democracy. Every societal structure of political order is based actually on exclusion. This is said by Mouffe. So that is normal that there is we and they. Nevertheless, we can also have critique at liberal democracy regarding women's rights, LGBT+, social welfare. Everybody should be actually there for each other. So, in addition, we have the social crisis, which has been enabled through governmental intervention, which led to rise of power of big institutions, and which have enabled the separation of society and government, and also led to this uprising populistic movement. And actually, the government doesn't interfere in the economical circle, but in the circle of its citizen. Why? Because it wastes tax money for his employees. So this paternalistic behavior of the government is actually totally denied by populists. Because actually the government should be only there to have a crowd support of the poor. So, and then so actually the self-determination of the citizens from the economic perspective is the first point of populism theory. And coming to Schmitt, Schmitt was actually the first one who was doing a populist analysis. And he sees the government as the monopolist over the political, which was really in the 18th and 19th century the case. And also coming back to unitarism of liberal democracy, it is leading to a negation of hegemony, sovereignty and antagonism, and the overcoming of we and they differentiation. Finally, coming to Laclau. Laclau is saying in this discourse analysis that populism is an antagonism which is putting, actually, how to say, which is putting a front between liberalism and democracy. So, and this is also standing in analogy to Schmitt, who is also for separation of liberalization and democracy, and also wants diversification and pluralism. MOVE is actually going to emotionalization of politics, which should put also a force between going together of all the parties. And coming to another solution from Godwin, he wants to have a laissez-faire liberalization with a renewable society contract of free individuals. And the laissez-faire liberalism is a trust in the harmony of the market mechanisms if and so the government intervenes. So this means a differentiation of the centralized, modern, bureaucratic and hierarchy government of the Leviathan. Coming to an end, what is the solution? Another solution is direct democracy. You don't have any representatives or institutions, but you have citizens, like in the antique in Greece, which are coming together in an agora to discuss what they should do. This can also happen during work time. And this type of democracy is also being favored by Arendt, who is proposing a world of doing and acting. And that liberal democracy actually can stay and can renew. We need democratic institutions which renew themselves. Castoriadis is talking about a magma, which is standing, which is continuously moving, not standing still. And yeah, that's one of the solutions. And to sum it up, we can see populism as a threat, but also as an opportunity. It creates walls, but also enables bridges to tear down walls, showing our blind spots and showing also the blind spots of liberal democracy. It is actually a warning system in times of missing communication between parties, elites and the society, as well as with disenchantment with politics. So let us don't be blinded by our achievements, but fight for them and be an active citizen. Thank you.
We'll hear of someone who has reflected on the roots of populism. That doesn't mean that you have to agree with all what he says. Yeah.
I will say that.
Today we want to agree to disagree and disagree to agree. So every populist or anyone who is a populist, I want you to write down your questions so that you can answer later. Yeah? And if there is no one from FPR or a populist fan, then we will assume one. Yeah? I will play that role, or any of you will play that role. Yeah? We want a dynamic discussion. Okay, so some leaders or people who take the initiative to act against something like populism find their ways, by using their talent. And David is one of them, writing research paper. What is the political relevance of your research paper?
We should think about our democratic system, what we have currently. We know it can't work forever like this. We see it. Populism is showing it to us that we need a change. So this is the practical relevance.
Thank you very much. Now, analysis of the current political situation in the European Union or in Austria.
Well,
adding the energy perspective as well, since you are an expert in energy.
Okay. First of all, energy and politics are not so being combined in that terms of sense and populism. Nevertheless, analysis in Europe, of course, we all have Brexit. We are aware of Brexit. Today the negotiations started. Then we had, Austria is a wonderful example with the FPÖ. We had a coalition in the 1990s. We had a government by the FPÖ. Now we have new votings, I think, in Austria in September. Like I said at the beginning, the SPÖ is negotiating if they make a coalition with the FPÖ, if this is possible. Then we have Le Pen in France. We have Geert Wilders in the Netherlands. And we have the AfD in Germany. So like I said, we have 39 populistic parties within 24 countries in the European Union member states. So it is a severe trend, and like I said, it's not an exclusive part of liberal democracy, so it belongs to liberal democracy, but we should reflect what we have.
Perfect. A prognosis, the future of Europe. What's the future of Europe? In your words, and in your words.
Well, I can say I'm a European. I don't reflect myself as a German, so I really fight for it. And we only have advantages in Europe. Nowadays with the migration so-called crisis, the borders are being put up again, but we should fight for it to tear them down again.
Great, thank you very much. Move from you to smash populism. So I know the research academics write papers, and that doesn't mean take a pen and read a book and write. It means advance knowledge. So.
Well, I can just uphold this card. This one is one thing to say, okay, we go for it. Yeah, we show our interest in Europe. The other thing is join a party or found a party and try to make it better. Yeah, because you can be active. Everybody of us can be active and take a part in this system and try to make it better, try to change it.
Okay, thank you. Which party, by the way? Which party?
Well, this is in your self-interest.
Good, thank you very much. And if you had the chance, would you establish a political party?
If you get enough members, yes.
Okay. Well, you have to share the vision for that. Good. We move to. Do you want to share the vision of your future political party?
Of my. Well, it's like I can, from my perspective of my NGO, we can say. Some call it Europe, we call it home.
Thank you. Let's move from you to smash populism. So I know the research academics write papers, and that doesn't mean take a pen and read a book and write. It means advance knowledge. So.
Well, I can just uphold this card. This one is one thing to say, okay, we go for it. Yeah, we show our interest in Europe. The other thing is join a party or found a party and try to make it better. Yeah, because you can be active. Everybody of us can be active and take a part in this system and try to make it better, try to change it.
Okay, thank you. Which party, by the way? Which party?
Well, this is in your self-interest.
Good, thank you very much. And if you had the chance, would you establish a political party?
If you get enough members, yes.
Okay. Well, you have to share the vision for that. Good. We move to. Do you want to share the vision of your future political party?
Of my. Well, it's like I can, from my perspective of my NGO, we can say some call it Europe, we call it home.
Thank you. We move on with the second speaker. He's a professor. Professor Ismail Yassin works at Integration Fund Austria. Do you know the Integration Fund Austria? Does anybody know? Please raise the hands up. Only one. Do you know Sebastian Kurz?
Yes.
Yes? So he's behind this.
Yeah.
So back to Professor Ismail Yassin. He works at where the Sebastian Kurz works. Former university professor at University of Damascus and is currently involved in the project Treffpunkt Österreich and is a project member of the Austrian Center for Digital Humanities, Austrian Academy for Science, Vienna. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So please tell, what do you do at the Integration Fund Austria?
Well, thank you very much in the beginning. So many thanks for the invitation, for my friend Peter, and for UPF, and for the youth of UPF. And really it's a great privilege for me today to be here in Wien University. And I'd like just to start maybe with an introduction, maybe about myself a little bit. I am from Syria. I belong to the Kurdish ethnicity, and I'm here maybe since 2 years ago, and I'm very happy to live in the Austrian society in Baden. And I know a lot of good friends here, thinkers, social researchers, and who are working in the field of integration. Really, I'm so glad. Since I worked with the Austrian Academy for Science, and I worked for them for the Vienna University, the Department of Orientalistic. I recorded for them maybe the first Damascene dictionary in the Orientalistic department. Then I moved to the Austrian Integration Fund maybe 6 months ago, and I'm so much glad and happy to work there for many reasons. First of all, I'd like to learn German, and this is mein Ziel. And also just to know how the new environment, new society, new mentalities, how the other society, because I had a previous experience in Sweden, 8 months, and we had a lot of connection and relationships with the Scandinavian countries like Sweden and Norway, when we were in Syria and Damascus, the capital. So then I came here, and I'm very, very happy just to give you a glance about my job in OEF. But first now I'd like just to tell you in English, in Arabic we have a proverb says, knowledge is power and light, while ignorance is darkness. Okay? So I think the target behind our creation is to know each other. To know each other. We are living on one earth, not two globes, and we belong to different ethnicities, religions, denominations, and all of us, we belong to one origin, as I believe. Maybe somebody will agree or somebody will disagree, but this is my belief. and this is my ideology. Just now going to the integration. Now I think the aspect or the phenomena of refugees and integration, it is not modern as it shows. It is as old as the existence of human being on the earth. Since we have a conflict between good and evil, Adam and Satan, bad, black and white, day and night, plus and minus, we have this kind of contradiction on the earth. Nobody can eliminate this. Otherwise, there will be no kind of test in our life. So coming to the, coming here now as Syrian, and I'm now just working in the Syrian, what we say, community management in OAF. Syrian people, they have a very old civilization. Maybe it goes back to the history 9,000 years. And it's the cradle of many, many old civilizations. And all divine religions, they were planted in our land. You could see, for example, minarets and churches together in the old bazaars in Damascus. If you go to Umayyad Mosque, you can see John Baptist tomb in the most ancient mosque in the whole, Levant or the Syria, physical Syria. And all the Muslims and non-Muslims, they come and they visit John Baptist. He is the cousin of Jesus Christ. Peace be upon all of them. So Judaism, Christianity, Islam, they were living together. They had the same heritage because they belong to one father. He is Abraham. Monotheistic religions. And they share the same morals, the same values, the same, moral background. And then policies, they come just now to politicize the religion later. But in the fountain, the origin, all of them, they come from one source. And the source, love your brother as you love yourself. Okay? This is the bridge. And Isaac Newton, I think he, maybe 600 years ago, said, human being built many, many, many walls. But they should have built bridges, as the title here today. So we need bridges. We don't need more walls. Everybody is responsible in this hall and outside. Everybody, since he has a mind and he has the sense of responsibility, so he will be accounted for his deeds. And everybody will feel that he is good or not. If he helps the others, if he gives his hands for the others, as Peter said, you have to think, to mediate. You have to, every morning, you have to know, for example, what kind of actions have you done the day before, and what is your agenda for next day, and what's your timetable for every day. So I think this is the introduction. I'm sorry it was a little bit long, but I think this is the reality. We have to think, because our mission is not easy. As David has mentioned, it's a very, very hard job. To be human being, to bear this kind of title, is not an easy task. It's very hard working. And since we are representing the holy God, so we have to be holy people, to believe and to share and to cooperate and to love each other. I'll come just now to the project that I'm working for time being in OAF. Really, the Syrian refugees, they are here in Austria, And we are in OIF working on 3, fields. Of course, I represent myself. They didn't send me, but I'm just because I'm working there and I know what's going there. In OIF, we have about learning Deutsch. And this is the Schlüssel, the key, how to be integrated. And it's very, very important to know the language, because the key of knowledge is how to speak. How to speak, how to explain your ideas, how to paraphrase. Okay, it's very, very important. So language, then how to find, just now to give a chance for them how to find a job. And the job here now, it's very, very difficult. It's not easy to find a job in Austria, because we know that we have, economic stagnation in all over Europe. But I think some refugees, they could find a job, because they are working great efforts how to prove themselves in the new society. This is number 2. The third one that I'm working on is the cultural integration. What's culture? Culture, it's not easy word. Maybe I think once I have studied or I read in encyclopedia, it's maybe about 280 aspects of human being. It is a well-cultured man. Habits, law, traditions, philosophy, geography, history, psychology, and all branches of knowledge. If you have something from these, you might be cultured person. It's not easy. Kultur. It's very, very deep meaning, the culture. So with my friend in OIF, we planned to go to different, we asked for 50 participants, young and old, girl, young men, and men, women. So 50 Syrians. They came and they participate in our project, and we are starting now the second project. So we took them the most prominent places here in Vienna. We took them to Advent Market before, before the Christmas, and then we took them to the Schönbrunn. We took them to Karl Marx Hof, to Sigmund Freud's Klingend House. We took them to Spitalau, where you can see how that factory is working and changing, the garbage into energy. And we took them to Belvedere, that's great, by Prince Eugen. We took them also, to Mozart's house. And I think we could just now move the people from a little bit, from another culture to the new culture. And this is a great leap, a great jump, a great street for how to know the other. It's very, very important. Because before coming here, I studied about Austria, and I studied about the history, about Al Habsburg, and how they ruled maybe about 700 years, and they have a great influence on the future of Europe, and the future of Christianity. Okay, so, this cultural integration is very, very important. Maybe the word integration, assimilation, adaptation, we have a lot of identifications for words. But usually we have to, maybe I can call it now, there should be a positive participation. Okay? Everybody comes here, drinks this water, he's responsible to pay the tax of this water. Maybe the amount of oxygen that we breathe. So this is responsibility. We have to work. for the sake of this new country. And it is not an exaggeration, it is a reality. So, our participants, they were doctors, engineers, workers, ladies, housewives, students. The response was great, and especially among the young people, as you. I'm very happy today that I'm meeting very, very nice, very, very hot-spirited people today in Vienna University, as well as we have great philosophers like my friend Leo Gabriel. He is a great anthropologist, and he is my teacher, and I'm very happy to be also with Mr. Peter. Really, you have to take the knowledge and the experience of the old and to put the spirit of youth. Then you can be complete human being. Then I think, maybe I'm just about to end, I think with honesty, cooperation, with peace, which is our, our ambition, which is not an imagination, but if we work together, if we can just now stop in the face of aggression, of injustice, of warmongers, or those people who are waging the wars, those people who just look at the map, they are looking at the map of the world, and they know where are the weak points, then they are waging wars among the people. So, those people we have to be, and I think our mean is knowledge. Knowledge, knowledge, knowledge. Consciousness is very, very important. And then coexistence, freedom, those values that we might share, I think they will be a great weapons in our hands. Dear colleagues, smile, please smile. Smile. I think smile is a very, very nice, just to relax your muscles of your face. I think life is very short. Life is very, very short. Life is like illusion. It's a dream. Today you are here. You can't predict that what will happen next second. So we have to invest our time to know good people, to work together, to understand each other, to deepen our relations. And so, why? Because the human being is the target of this life. Not only money, not only materials. So many thanks for your patience. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for your listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. We're not yet done with you. It was very passionate. Yeah. So you talked about morality. Morality is a principle of choices. There are people who are family-centered, money-centered, friend-centered. But no matter you are rich or poor, no matter to which society class you belong, there are a few principles that never change, like justice, fairness, law. And regarding the language, so you speak Arabic, right?
Yes, of course. My mother tongue is Kurdish. I speak Arabic because better than my mother tongue. Mm-hmm. And I taught in the university 14 years, Arabic and English. I studied English literature and the art of teaching, as well as law, and then theology.
Perfect.
Yeah. So if you have any question about theology and Arabic, you can ask me.
Amazing.
Okay. I'm ready.
Teachers. I am a teacher as well. I'm a tennis coach. Anyone wants tennis? Being a teacher is not a profession; it's a mission. And I know it's a mission.
It's
a mission.
It's a message.
Yes. Now we spoke about language. Communication is is an exchange of information, Austrian reality. It's wonderful. For everybody, for me, for example, this is a trivial thing. I see it every day, and I'm sure some of you feel me when I say that. But what happens with the Syrian people that you showed the Austrian reality? What was the impact? What are they doing now, and what's the next move?
Well, I think because now even some Turkish people may be here, for example, for 30 years they are here, they might not be able or not because they have no knowledge about where is Schönbrunn or what's inside, what's the history of Karl Marx and the monarchy here. And the other people, even some Austrians, they don't know their history. Maybe some, maybe I don't generalize, of course, but I think it's an obligation. It's like alphabet to know the others. Since I am here, I must know you. I must, for example, know your curriculum, your school system, your university, your Gesellschaft, your society. I must know everything. Because this is my message. How can I live in an environment with my ignorance about you? How can I communicate? Not to be mistaken, for example, with you in the neighborhood or in in different parts of our life. So I think that the participants, they were very happy, and they have a very wide range of experience in knowing about the Austrian society and geography, politics. When, for example, we took them to the parliament, they were very, very happy just to know about the federal system here in Austria, and there was a lady, she explained everything about the political system here, about 2 hours. So it was a great advantage for the people to know, to add something new to their information. Okay? So we had not only just in the environment, politics, geography, history, etc.
Perfect. Good. The last question. As far as I know, FPR are not against Ausländer. As far as they spend the money here, what do you have to say about that?
Would you smile and repeat your question?
So, FPR, they're not against Ausländer, the foreigners, as long as they spend the money here.
The party name?
Yes.
Okay. Because now I don't involve in such issues, but I know they are paying for the, Afghanis, Syrians. They are paying just to learn the language, to know more. And I think the head of OEF, my friend Franz Wolf, I think is working very hard just to do something good for the country and for the refugees too. And I think it's a great job, great task.
And 1 million. I fully agree. The OEF has a fund for projects that are related to sport. Everyone who is initiating a sport project, sport initiative that integrates immigrants, integrates foreigners in the Austrian society through sport can get a fund or can be nominated for a prize. So check out the website. It's very, very interesting. I took part together with my team with my tennis charity event. It was a tennis charity event, migration background.
Sorry, I think we have about 10 Angebote. Just not only just the offers, we have 10 offers, not only Treffpunkt Österreich, we have Treffpunkt Deutsch, we have Academy, we have Österreich zusammen, we have sport, we have Schulbesuch, we have a lot of offers for the immigrants. We have Sprachportal. We have we have a lot. I think. I mean, just now they can make a use of the offers of OEF, and all of them they are gratis. They are free.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. And lately started something regarding regarding entrepreneurship for migrants. Do you know about it? Can you,
About?
entrepreneurs,
I
migrants.
think there is mentoring. Mentoring. There is this program is good with the Austrian Chamber of Commerce and with OEF and with AMS. I think 3 organizations. They are working together how to just give a hand for any person who has an immigrant background, just to make him ready how to come to the market, to work.
Thank you very much. Thank you. A round of applause, please. Okay, so we move on with Nina, and the initiator of Pulse of Europe. Pulse of Europe. You have this on your chairs. Maybe you're sitting on this. Pulse of Europe. Nina, talk about Pulse of Europe. Nina will be talking in German. Ich habe nichts dagegen. Solange du die Sprache der Liebe verwendest. Also, was ist Pulse of Europe und für uns ist sehr wichtig zu erzählen, warum machst du das? Hm?
Sehr gerne. Erstmal vielen Dank für die Einladung. Ich freue mich sehr, dass ich hier dabei sein darf. Mein Name ist Nini, also das ist mein echter Name, nicht Nina. Ich bin aus Georgien, das ist etwas ungewöhnlich. Kann man mich hören? Das ist ein bisschen leise, oder? 1 Million? So, jetzt haben wir es. Okay, also ich wiederhole nochmal, vielen Dank für die Einladung. Ich freue mich sehr, dass ich hier dabei sein darf. Mein Name ist Nini. Das ist mein echter Name. Ich komme aus Georgien, deswegen ist es ein bisschen ungewöhnlich für manche. Pulse of Europe, genau, wie der Puls, also Herzschlag Europas. Wir sind eine frische Bürgerinitiative, die sich spontan in Frankfurt gegründet hat durch ein Ehepaar, das nach Brexit, nach dem, was in Amerika passiert ist, aus der Schockstarre rauskommen wollte und einfach mal auf die Straße gegangen ist mit ein paar Freunden. Die haben sich die EU-Fahne geschnappt und haben gesagt, gut, wir werden jetzt einfach mal für Europa aufstehen, nicht gegen etwas, also nicht gegen Rechtspopulisten, nicht gegen EU-Gegner, sondern nein, im Gegensatz dazu wollen wir diese kritischen Äußerungen, kritischen Meinungen gegenüber der EU eigentlich ernst nehmen. Wir wollen diese Menschen inkludieren, wir wollen ihnen eine Plattform bieten, sich von Angesicht zu Angesicht auszutauschen, statt in den sozialen Medien, was ja bekanntlich nicht so gut geklappt hat und immer noch nicht klappt. Und so eine Bewegung gab es bisher noch nicht. Das ist eigentlich sehr einzigartig und sehr neu. Und es zeigt, dass die Zivilgesellschaft aufgewacht ist. Also die Aktion, die sieht so aus, falls es noch niemand kennt, es ist jeden Sonntag bisher gewesen. Ab jetzt ist es immer am ersten Sonntag des Monats und es ist immer davon abhängig, wo es ist. Also man kann auf Pulse of Europe EU schauen, ob das in dem eigenen Land, in welchen Städten das stattfindet. In Österreich haben wir jetzt Wien, Innsbruck, Krems, Linz mit auf der Liste. Graz wollte auch mitmachen. Vielleicht sind Sie demnächst dabei. Aber es ist grundsätzlich am Sonntag um 14 Uhr und es soll gleichzeitig stattfinden. Mittlerweile findet es in 140 Städten in Europa statt. Und es werden immer mehr, also mehr als 18 Länder dabei. Nicht nur EU-Länder, sondern auch Nicht-EU-Länder, also zum Beispiel Ukraine und viele andere. Und das ist also 60.000 Menschen, mehr als 60.000 Menschen gehen am Sonntag auf die Straße, um einfach ihre Meinung gegenüber der EU am offenen Mikrofon zu diskutieren oder einfach dafür einzustehen. Und also wir in Österreich, wir haben das angefangen vor ungefähr 9 Wochen. Also jetzt am Sonntag, an diesem Sonntag um 14 Uhr findet das zum 10. Mal statt. Das ist immer vor der Karlskirche am Karlsplatz. Und also in Berlin sind es beispielsweise 7.500 Menschen, die jeden Sonntag zusammenkommen. In Wien müssen wir noch ein bisschen dran arbeiten, der Demonstrationskultur. Aber es ist, man muss erwähnen, also wir sind eine überparteiliche Organisation bzw. Bewegung. Also wir sind nicht mal ein Verein, ja, es sind einfach wirklich spontane Menschen, die sich zusammentreffen. Und mein Team besteht gerade mal so aus 10 bis 12 Leuten, die das jede Woche organisieren. Die haben natürlich ihre Verpflichtungen, ihre Familien, ihre Jobs, aber machen das alles freiwillig und wir finanzieren uns über private Spenden. Also da ist auch niemand, der uns irgendwie dabei unterstützt, keine Parteien, keine EU, so wie viele andere dann immer kritisch auf uns zukommen. Nein, das ist wirklich über Crowdfunding und es hat bisher ganz gut geklappt. Und für mich persönlich war das ausschlaggebend, diese Schockstarre, darauf will ich auch eingehen, du hast vorhin erwähnt, Daniel, diese Active Citizen, genau das ist es, also dieses Gefühl kam Ende Februar an aus den verschiedenen Städten von Path of Europe, also aus Frankreich, aus Deutschland, aus Brüssel, aus Luxemburg und ich dachte, in Österreich könnte das doch auch mal klappen und am Anfang haben wir erstmal getestet, okay, wie würde das ankommen, haben auf Twitter geschaut, wie viele Menschen würden teilnehmen. Es kamen anscheinend viele Interessierte, die dann anscheinend gesagt haben, gut, wir treffen uns jetzt in Wien vom Karlsplatz und ja, vielleicht wächst ja die Bewegung dann noch weiter. Ja, was wir machen, im Gegensatz zu den anderen Städten in Europa, ist, dass wir ein offenes Mikrofon anbieten. Das ist immer unterschiedlich. Wir sorgen immer dafür, dass wir eine Aktion haben, jeden Sonntag. Also es kann immer ein anderes Thema sein. An diesem Sonntag hatten wir zum Beispiel Forderungen oder Vorschläge, Ideen, wie man die EU neu gestalten könnte. Also die Menschen, die wissen, dass die EU weiterentwickelt werden muss, dass es eine Art Restart haben sollte. Und das ist eine Möglichkeit für die Zivilgesellschaft, ihre Ideen, ihre Forderungen einfach mal zusammenzutragen und wir kommunizieren das sozusagen nach oben, wir veröffentlichen das im Internet oder eben an Kommissaren, EU-Parlamentarier von den Ländern und die tragen die Ideen dann weiter. Und die andere Idee, die dahinter steckt, ist auch, dass wir für diese proeuropäische Stimmung sorgen. Und durch diese Stimmung wollen wir auch Parteien inspirieren, dass sie die EU-Agenda mehr in ihrem Parteiprogramm besprechen und dass dann viel mehr, also dass die Menschen viel mehr Möglichkeit haben, diese proeuropäischen Parteien, die sich dann mehr mit diesen Themen auseinanderzusetzen, zu wählen, sodass dann viel mehr nach oben kommt. Also die Zukunft Europas, die Future of Europe, wie es auch nur im Titel heißt, ich würde sagen, die besteht einfach darin, dass die Zivilgesellschaft sich einsetzt, dass die Ideen von unten nach oben transportiert werden und dass jetzt wirklich dieses Active Citizenship mal in Europa immer weiter ausgebaut wird und immer mehr Menschen sich daran interessieren und immer mehr kreative Ideen entstehen, Grassroots-Bewegungen oder Organisationen, die plötzlich aufpoppen überall in Europa. Und das finde ich eine super Idee und eine super Sicht. Also ich würde nicht nur auf die rechtspopulistischen Parteien schauen, sondern eigentlich auf diese emotionale Seite ist in Europa im Herzen der Menschen angekommen und nicht nur von der politischen Seite. Ja, ich habe mich jetzt ziemlich kurz gehalten.
Danke vielmals. Wer von euch ist überzeugt? Wer würde jeden Sonntag um 14 Uhr mitmachen? Hände hoch, bitte. Peter, du auch nicht?
Das ist super, ihr seid natürlich herzlich eingeladen.
Wer würde mitmachen? Wer würde mitmachen? Hände hoch.
Wir suchen auch regelmäßig Menschen, die sich da gerne engagieren und bei uns im Team mit anpacken. Das ist natürlich, je größer wir werden, desto besser ist es.
Also es gibt nicht viele, die mitkommen möchten. Du hast noch eine Chance. Es gibt einen TED-Talk, wo jemand redet, es ist nicht wichtig, was du machst, sondern warum du es machst. Rede über die Werte, was sind die Werte dieser Bewegung, warum sollte ich mitmachen? Ich bin kein Euroskeptiker. Wie könntest du meine Meinung ändern und die Meinung von vielen hier, damit sie mitmachen? Weil wenn ihr nicht größer werdet, dann sind keine Werte dabei. Ja?
Also ich denke, dass das Problem hier auch ist, und das erlebe ich sehr oft, dass wir das, was wir hier haben, in Österreich, in Deutschland, in Frankreich, in allen möglichen europäischen Staaten, ist, dass wir die Werte und die Freiheiten zu selbstverständlich nehmen und gar nicht wissen, was auf uns zukommt, wenn das alles wegbricht. Und man kann sich am Beispiel von Großbritannien mal ansehen, so wie es ist. Da sind die Jugendlichen, die nicht wählen gegangen sind. Das ist eine Katastrophe gewesen. 36% von 17- bis 26-jährigen Jugendlichen haben überhaupt gewählt und die 65 plus haben 83% gewählt. Also sie sind in einem europäischen Staat eingeschlafen und sind in einem ganz anderen Land aufgewacht. Und das deswegen, weil sie es einfach zu selbstverständlich genommen haben. Und wir werden dann jetzt in den nächsten Jahren mitverfolgen, was mit Großbritannien passieren wird, nachdem sie aus der EU ausgetreten sind.
Dankeschön.
Ja, und es geht eben darum, um diese Konsequenzen. Was passiert für uns, wenn jetzt Österreich zum Beispiel aus der EU austreten wird oder wenn Deutschland, das ist sehr unwahrscheinlich, dass es passiert, aber jetzt mal ein Szenario dafür. Die Grundidee war ja, dass wir uns zusammenschließen für ein Projekt des Friedens. Ja? Und ich sehe das in Gefahr. Ich weiß, dass es nicht selbstverständlich ist, ich komme aus Georgien, also für mich wird das nie selbstverständlich sein, die Sicherheit, die wir hier haben. Und ich finde auch, dass wir mit Amerika, mit China, mit den Großen der Welt nicht mithalten können, alleine als ein Staat. Wir müssen uns alle zusammenschließen, dass wir mit einem starken gemeinsamen Europa gegen die starken Mächte ankommen und dass wir eine Sprache haben, dass wir mitreden können. Wir schaffen das nicht alleine und das ist leider sehr schwer, viele Menschen davon zu überzeugen. Das hat sehr verschiedene Gründe. Das ist einerseits Fehlinformation, andererseits die Medien, die Dämonisierung der EU, also welche Rolle hat die EU, was macht sie eigentlich? Viele Menschen, die zu uns bei Path of Europe kommen, zu den Aktionen, wissen eigentlich gar nicht, was macht eigentlich die EU, was machen die verschiedenen Institutionen. Das ist eigentlich sehr gefährlich, weil wir Menschen dann uns nicht bewusst sind, was die Konsequenzen eben davon sind, wenn wir nicht aktiv werden. Ich denke, dass wenn wir schweigen und wenn wir nichts machen, das ist die größte Gefahr der Demokratie.
Danke vielmals. David, ich weiß, dass du mitmachen würdest. Warum? Kurz.
Warum mitzumachen, wie ich gesagt habe? Okay, in English, sorry. Be active, don't be lazy, don't be sluggish, don't sit in your comfort zone, go out, do it.
Okay, thank you. So, a social entrepreneur. He's Aladdin. You know Aladdin?
Yeah, very famously. Everybody knows it.
Can you fly me to Bora Bora? So he's the founder of Smart Academy. Smart Academy has a big vision. And the vision of Smart Academy is to be one of the top best organizations in the world in terms of development, scientific research and attracting scientific cadre. So think big but start small. What does that mean? What is this vision?
It means have a big vision for the future, but use... Oh, sorry.
It means have a big vision. Really big vision. But be careful and use the available resources, which we don't have at the moment, but we're trying to improve. But use the available resources. We do have a great resources here, which is our human resources. The people, the human beings who are willing and aspiring to have something, to put their fingerprints in the process of integration. So we are here, we would like to help them as much as we can and to work together to achieve this vision.
Perfect.
And it's, we started with, I mean, it's really surprising when I started Smart Academy and I put the announcement and I said, who would like to be a member? We started with 100 people, but we end up in less than 6 months with 800 members.
Wow. This deserves a round of applause.
So hopefully we can achieve it.
Please talk about Smart Academy.
Okay, before I talk about Smart Academy, there is a tactic. The best way of defense is to attack.
No, the best way of defense is defense.
So, in this case, I would like to raise a question to you. What is the difference between heroes of war and heroes of peace? Who can give me the answer in one word?
Heroes of
Wars and heroes of peace.
Heroes of peace.
They are both are heroes. Both they make a victory.
One
Both.
dies, one lives. The other one lives. One dies in the war, the other one lives.
Exactly. Both live. The heroes normally live. Okay. But the problem, yes, you are close. The enemies and the heroes of wars, they make people die. They have victims. And we can see this exactly in what's happening now in Syria, in my country. And you can see, I really love, there was a quote, somebody was saying, the crisis in Europe is not the crisis of refugees. The crisis is the crisis of war back home in Syria, and this is what we should focus on. So here, what I would like to stress, that heroes of peace are the great people. They do make a victory, but even without victims. Victory without victims. Victory with sustainable development. Victory with growth. Victory with love. And here I would like to raise a big hand to Peter for this initiative, and I would like to send my application to be an ambassador of peace. If you would accept me, without an interview. And I would like to thank my friend and my teacher, Leo Gabriel, really for introducing me to Peter. It was a good story, and I hope it will move on. Now, I would like to start about, Smart Academy was a dream. Really. And I would like here to quote David for when he said everybody can be active. Everybody should be active. And really what your word has touched me in the heart, because that was my situation in the year 2014 or 2013 when I was reading the newspapers to practice my Deutsch, of course. And every day I'm reading in the newspaper a lot of news. Whenever somebody, an Auslander they call it, or
Ausländerinnen.
Okay, or
correct.
if he does a mistake, it's focused, magnified, and big worries coming up in the newspaper. So the media was building bridges. Walls, sorry. The media was building walls. And it was really high walls of illusion. Then I said, how can I contribute to building bridges? Then I started with reading about the vision about Austria, and then I was surprised, or I came to know that Vienna has a wonderful strategy 2050, to be one of the best or the smartest city of Europe. Vienna to be the city of scientific research and innovation. And then at the same time I was reading about the UN Sustainable Development Goals, the 17th Sustainable Development Goals. And there is the last two of them, the 16 and the 17th. The 16 says peace and justice. Peace, justice, and strong organizations, strong institutions. And the 17th is working, cooperating to achieve those goals. So I said, okay, then here comes the Stichwörter. Peace, sustainability, justice, smart city. So to achieve this, you need smart citizens, you need smart people. Because any strategy, there is statistics that 80% of strategies fail and only 20% succeed because they lack the people to believe in. Only when people buy in the strategy, then the strategy is successful. So from there on, I thought, how can I do something? And I know my people, the people who came from Syria, from Iraq, they are smart people. They have very high qualification, and I think most of you have read the statistics by IMS. How can we change, or how can we make those people resources instead of fears and worries in the newspapers? How can we say that those people are resources for the future, are the elements to make the strategy of Vienna a winning strategy? Then we established the Academy, Smart Academy, to promote the culture of excellence, to promote the culture of development, of improvement, to help the people. And we started actually functioning in August 2016. We started our first meeting, and then we started our outreach campaign. We started telling the people what is our plan. We have then made Vision 2025. In 2025, we would move our people from social Hilfenehmer, people getting the money from the social, into people who would pay Steuer, or taxes. And then that is the first phase. The next phase is to be in 2025 applying the standard, the excellence standards of European Forum for Quality Management in Brussels. We have worked on this actually model in several countries. For example, my last project in between 2008 and 2012 was to turn the government from traditional government into modern government, from e-government to smart government. And then we could take such kind of examples, this model, and we implemented. We started gradually, and we made actually SWOT analysis. We started with a group of lawyers. That was the first and pilot project for Smart Academy. We did SWOT analysis, and we have seen what are the problems. We made a study based on the meetings and the different gap analysis and so on. And we started to have a training program for them in cooperation with lawyers here. Some of them are students at the university, some of them are lawyers who are practicing, and they were really kind enough to give us some of their time. They used to take the people and give them the terminology of law, and then later on we made some visits to the courts. The last one was in the Strafe Gesetz, and I would like really to praise my friend and my colleague Abdullah. Please raise your hand. He's the head of the legal section, who really worked with me hand in hand to make this program achievable. Now the next one was to create more initiatives. For example, we in cooperation with OAF, we had the EDV training program. The people who are new here, maybe they know computer, they have knowledge about computer, but they don't know it in German. So we help them to do that. The next one is the cultural dialogue. During my meeting with many Austrian friends, they told me they have a kind of concerns. They have a big mass that's coming here in this country, but they do not know their traditions. Then we have agreed, to make a program for them. My friend is the head of ÖAS, Österreichische Arbeitsgemeinschaft für systematische Therapie, and Familie Neu, to make a program so that families, Austrian families and Syrian families sit together, do role spieling, yeah, exactly, role play. They know each other, they understand their problems, and so on. And it will be a kind of workshop format where we can mediate these workshops and understand each other. We had also Spaß an Deutsch und Bewegung. That was a program we have made with our Austrian friends to change the traditional learning class into a virtual class. We have started this program 4 months ago, where a group of participants go with Austrian people in the city. For example, important places, the teacher would prepare information about the place, and they would read it in advance, then they would ask questions. Also, we have so many information avenues, because actually the legal section has started what is called Smart Anwalt Facebook site, where everybody has questions. They don't have to have access to information, they can ask information and the lawyers would answer such questions. Okay? So we have felt there is very strong need for information, a clarity of information. So we decided to have info abends. We started with a big one in collaboration with our friends, lawyer friends, and then we have answered those questions. So that's a summary of our activities. Of course, we have more ambitious plans. It depends on the resources. The more resources we have, the more programs we can launch. We have programs in the radar, but we cannot launch them. Now, finally, I would like to end my speech. Sorry for taking longer than my time. Okay, thank you. Ismail has said a very important word. He said, people tend to divide our world into black and white. But between them, there is a spectrum. There is ultraviolet, there is infrared, there is brown, orange, and so on. So our world is really beautiful when we make it colorful. And thanks, Ismail, for mentioning this. The second thing, also from Ismail, life, he said, life is short. So I would like to complete his quote, let's live it smart. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Agatin. One question is, how did you connect the dots? When you founded the Smart Academy, you said that it was a dream. How did you connect the dots with the SDGs, with the vision of the city of Vienna? How did you come to this idea?
Okay, it's normally known that a dream remains a dream until you set objectives, until you make moves, until you make plans. And actually, we had this dream and we changed this into smart objectives. So we took the Smart Academy. Sorry, I would like to show you the presentation about our strategy and Vision 2025. However, we had our strategy is based into action plans. So, for example, and this is what is the principle of smart objectives. Smart objective is S from specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely.
Oh, this is from the book Rich Dad Poor Dad?
Sorry?
This is from the book Rich Dad Poor Dad?
Well, it's from book, and it's actually it's one of the management principles, you know, and it's not very new. It's very old one, you know, which is a management by objectives, because it is well known that what cannot be measured cannot be managed. So to be able to manage manage your job and your program very well, it should be measured and relevant and timely. So we took Vienna 2050 strategy, okay, and we cascade from the Vienna strategy into Smart Academy, and we put our own smart objective based on that, so that we can help first to build our capabilities, because if we cannot build our house well, we cannot contribute. Then this is why in December 2016 we held workshops, strategic planning workshops and performance management workshops, and we introduced to our people how to operate based on a performance management model, not just randomly. So, and what is the performance management? How can you, for example, every year, the performance cycle every year, where you start in January, February, you put your own smart objectives, and then you move on until the first quarter, where you can and you can do mentoring and follow-up coaching for the people. Okay, and then until the end of the year, where you can start assessing your objectives, how they were achieved, based on the smart format, where people can be objective rather than subjective. When I want to judge you, okay, I cannot just go and say, "Wow, you are a wonderful employee," or if I don't like you, I say, "You are a bad employee." Okay, based on what? Then I should have KPIs. Key performance index, where I can judge your performance, even if I like you or I don't like you. What you perform will be your judgment, will be your assessment, to ensure that you receive fair treatment, fair assessment, fair appraisal at the end of the performance year. So we wanted to train our staff, our Smart Academy staff, so that the next step will be to transfer this knowledge maybe to our partners. And finally, I mean, I would like to say, again, I feel myself always obliged to go back to Ismail. Really, I have a very respect to this person. I mean, he inspires me a lot. Ismail said knowledge. Knowledge is strong. Knowledge is powerful. It's true. But how can we make this efficient, effective, with a strong impact on our organizations, on our society? There should be a knowledge management. Knowledge management is quite a very wide range, where we can collect information, store information, and distribute information. And by the way, this by itself requires a whole lecture. What is the difference between information and knowledge? Information is I know about something, okay? But knowledge is I know it. So I can read about the mango in the internet, okay? I have an information about it. But when I eat the mango and it start, coming here, then I know what it tastes. And it's the same thing. The information about a new society coming here, then we go back to our team, okay? If we just get information about the Syrians and the new community, we can't have bridges. But if we know them, if we get to know them well, then we can have bridges. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I think you are an inspiring example how someone can use the resources in Vienna and create something called Smart Academy. Good, now we open question to the audience. Please, I want you to stay true to your most real, most sincere, most authentic part of you. Ask whatever you want. We want a dynamic discussion. And we want you to agree to disagree and disagree to agree. Yeah? So, who wants to ask? We have a professor, the anthropologist here. Thank you for coming. Okay. So, the anthropologist, please.
Thank you. It was very, very inspiring and interesting. And I will be brief, but I have a short comment to each of your expositions, because they were in all equal I think there is a problem based on the understanding of words in different cultural contexts. When you said, for instance, populism, you had a certain vision of populism. I happen to know very well Latin America, and when I first brought this issue up, people were staring at me and said, "What? You're talking about politics? That's politics." Because leadership, being together with people, trying to get emotional, all that is not a negative, it is a positive, has a positive connotation at difference here. As far as Ismail, I have still a problem with the word integration, because it always means, and your examples also put it that way, that you have to integrate into a national culture you have. But that contradicts a little bit what you said also, that you have one reference point, which is the world.
Yeah.
And so it's not only that, in my view, that the people who come from the outside should learn German, but it's also that we have the obligation as being Austrians to learn other languages, and not only English, Arab, Bosniak, whatever. This should be in equal terms. With regard to the question of Europe, I might tell you, because of perhaps my age, I have been following a similar project since about, not 15 years. You can look it up in www.europeforall.org.
Europeforall.org.
With a 4 written. And the most important thing is, when you spoke about changing Europe, the most difficult thing is not to get people together, but to prove the people that you can change something in this EU. Because we know, and you know, that it needs to be changed. It's not a God which you just worship, but there are many things which are not peaceful. The European Union is participating in wars. They are not equalitarian. They don't coincide with our values. So that is the sort of the proof. And for Aladdin, I have this remark that perhaps it is to build bridges. There are many ways. To make love is to build a bridge. To make everything what you do is building a bridge. But how can you only talk about how things can develop among Syrians here and Austrians and so on, if there is a war going on? And I find so little, I can tell you in my experience, I don't mean you to at all, that most of the people, Syrians or others, are not consistent in joining a peace movement and give priority that the first bridge to build is the bridge of peace actively in order to stop the war.
Okay, thank you. We'll collect other questions.
In Austria. So I have a couple of questions, one from David and one is a combined question from Mr. Ismail and Mr. Aladdin. So first I will go for Mr. Ismail and Mr. Aladdin. So, first of all, I really appreciate what you guys are doing, like how you are helping these refugees to integrate in this society. But as far as I have seen, that okay, you're helping them to learn language, you're helping them to find jobs. It's a bridge you're building toward this society. But still, there is something missing. They're not completely acceptable to this society. There's a small aspect which is still missing. So, is there anyone doing any work from the other way around, like from this society to build a bridge? So they should be more easily accepted in this society, to educate and like teach a lot of people. It doesn't mean they're not educated. It means to tell them that these people who are coming from a war zone or from other countries, they also have a lot to offer, and we have to accept them from open hearts and open hands. So is there anything, any work going on from the other side as well? So that's one question to Mr. Ismail and Mr. Aladdin. So second question to Mr. David. So